warm welcome.
Thank you everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I am talking to you about what happens from rehab to real life. I'm Adrienne. I'm a speaker, an author, an advocate, and a strategist. I literally wrote the book From Rehab to Real Life. I have been in that dark place where you just don't know if you can go on any longer. But in 2006, life turned upside down. I met a man in church. He announced himself as a recovered alcoholic. I laughed. I said, "Do alcoholics recover?" I had no idea that I was living in a town that literally I had halfway houses and three-quarter houses across the street from my rented apartment. So the top two exports in Delray Beach, Florida are treatment and tourism. And those are not easy bedfellows, but we've made a case study out of it. Together we raised the bar because addiction has changed. It's no longer the bum in the gutter. It's the soccer mom. We've seen it on our street where they line up before they go pick their kids up to the drug dealer's house to get their prescription medicine. You have the guy that's getting ready in the business suit there. He's taking something to get up in the morning and something to go to sleep at night. Nobody talks about this silent epidemic. And I'm here to shake things up. So today's lineup, we're going to talk about the problems and we're going to talk about the solutions. The gap between treatment and reintegration. Can you imagine being on one side of that highway and having to traverse all the way over to the other? What resources are you going to need? Are you going to have enough strength to get there? Is there going to be anybody waiting for you once you do, or have you crossed all the bridges and they're done with you? There are so many things to factor in, but the gap is the most perilous time in addiction recovery because we lose a jumbo jet full of people to overdose every single day. That would be similar to a Delta flight falling out of the sky this afternoon, an Air France flight the day after that, and Southwest running into the air traffic controller's tower the day after that. We'd be in an outrage. It would be an outroar. No one is safe. Yet we're losing that many Americans every day. The truth is sobering. 85% of the individuals relapse in the first year after treatment with no help. In recovery for 1+ year, the 15% figure that you see down here, that's the people that actually got extra help, whether that was through a recovery residence or a non-clinical case manager to walk them through the first year in recovery. Many patients go home with no plan, no structure, and no real-world readiness. So what does the continuum look like? Well, NAR has 4 levels of recovery housing, and that's the National Alliance for Recovery Residences. The first level of housing is peer run. This is something like an Oxford house. This is where it's a democratic procedure and everyone in the house contributes to the well-being of everyone else in the house. It really doesn't have a management per se. The recovering addicts and alcoholics do their own plans and run their own communities. Then you have a managed support. That's where you have staff in place. You might not have a dedicated person to stay overnight, but that's not the point. Level 2 housing is really there to get you from your old life to your new, so that you learn to go to doctor's appointments and you learn to go get an application for a job and fill that application out and be a productive and responsible citizen again. Then level 3 will be supervised housing. That's where you have someone that is staying overnight. You are attached to pharmacists and psychiatrists and psychologists and the whole web of people, the same that we tried to do in the case management and under the managed care level 2, but just to a higher degree. And then you have level 4, which is clinical care. And those are the recovery residences that are going to be attached to treatment centers. Then you have recovery as a continuum of care. I'd like you to think about it from detox as being like an emergency room, right? And then you go to treatment, whether that's inpatient treatment, whether that's PHP, partial hospitalization treatment, it doesn't matter. This is the place where you stay 30, 60, 90, maybe even 6 months if it's an intensive treatment center to learn this new way of life. Then you have the recovery residences, where you're in a group living situation. You get to learn with all other peers in your same situation. Then you have independent living, and this is where we just love to talk about our past clients. These families go on to be better in contact with each other. They get better jobs. They're frequently less incarcerated, and they just, they really go back and thrive in their life. So why aren't more centers referring? The history in the past has been that there's a lack of oversight in the recovery residences, and that's been true. There has been some insurance fraud. The reputational risk, again, a lot of the houses that are opened by recovering or recovered alcoholics and addicts. And so there is a history there. There's a background, but people can and do change. My husband is one of the best examples. One white chip in 2000, and God willing, and the tide don't rise, he'll be celebrating 26 years in January. What it's like now, there's accreditation bodies that are regulated. The 4 cornerstones of healing, just like the 4 chambers of the heart, you have connection that fosters trust, which enables accountability, and in turn, accountability creates structures where mutual aid can thrive. Mutual aid deepens dependency and dignity makes more people receptive to connection and growth, back to the cycle. So what recovery residences can provide? In 2011, NAR was founded, and the first NAR standard released. So that was the first time that we got together on a national level and policed ourselves. And then the federal government, now you have to be a FAR or NAR certified house for treatment centers to refer to you. So NAR Code of Ethics was introduced in 2017. Then the standards were reintroduced as 3.0 in 2018. The SAMHSA practices that I spoke about earlier, they were introduced in 2018 and then updated in 2023. So you can see this is brand new stuff. This is cutting edge, but it's making a difference. It's making a difference in real people's lives. So here's the proof, the evidence for recovery residences. The stark fact is that only 11% of treatment centers refer out to recovery residences, even though there's an 80% chance of staying in recovery long-term if you stay in a recovery residence for 1 year. 11% had structured referral, and 89% had no way of referring people to recovery residences. The proof is in the outcomes, though. 6-month recovery residences outcomes. After the end of stay, 86% were abstinent, 81% were abstinent after leaving that recovery residence, 80% in that said recovery residence were employed, and only 5% were incarcerated. Incredible statistics, incredible numbers. This is just in one study. Why are we only talking about 11% of the treatment centers? Well, it costs less to fund recovery housing than repeat treatment. Insurance is paying for treatment. That doesn't mean treatment is free. And people are going in my area again and again and again and again. So you can see the numbers here. The average cost of substance abuse treatment per person, detox alone, per person, $141,000. Residential treatment, $50,000, and outpatient, $8,386. It costs $300 a week to stay at the lodge. And usually people stay between 6 months and 18 months. And they get better, and if necessary, they come back. But we keep going. We make it available. We're in the make it available business. So what's the future? What must change in policy, education, and culture to strengthen post-treatment recovery? Well, what must change in policy? More emphasis on rehabilitation than punishment. I've seen this so many times in so many systems, right? Punishment does not work long-term. It might move you towards that carrot in the short term, but we need a better strategy going forward long-term. We need greater access to addiction treatment. We need legislation changes. We need people that are talking at the Capitol, talking about these statistics that I spoke of earlier, telling people that it's not okay that we lose a jumbo jet every day of American citizens to this insidious disease. Then education. Teach what addiction recovery really looks like. It looks like the addicted executive, the soccer mom, your next door neighbor, maybe you. Resources for individuals, loved ones, and professionals. We have to have greater access. I am trying to work hard towards an organization called the Recovery Integrity Network, where we vet people in different areas of the country so parents feel safe sending their children across the country, 1,400 miles away to God knows what they're getting. There's got to be a better way. An established way to find qualified sober resources. That's what we're looking for, similar to a 988 number, but its own category. And then the culture, make drinking socially less acceptable. It's in everything. If you go on a cruise, you are harangued unless you tell them you have a medical condition or an allergy. Reduce the stigma of addiction and create healthier choices and routines. The family, connecting loved ones impacted by addiction as they heal together. That's what we're best at. So the families need parallel education and boundaries. It's not just the client that's recovering, it's the families as well. They need as much treatment as the individual does, and they frequently are put in a pigeonhole of being part of the problem, and they actually need to be part of the solution. The hope, moving forward, we will have a brighter future for those struggling with substance or behavioral addictions. Builds recovery-ready systems together. All this continuum, right? It takes a village to raise a child. And hold the line after treatment. Offer structure and support. Mentor and involve families and equip the professionals. Let's close this gap. We use Delray Beach as a case study, and any of you are welcome to contact me and find out more about this very important topic. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank you for championing this cause, which is very important. And as you say, fraught with much corruption and problems. A perennial issue has to do with Alcoholics Anonymous, which advocates total sobriety. There have been criticisms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Some who state that people can live partially drinking, that abstinence does not work for everyone. Also, Alcoholics Anonymous has been criticized from its very conservative religious fundamentalism that is tied to it. It lacks, cultural diversity in that. And so, do you believe that alcoholics can ever drink partially, or is abstinence the only solution? What is your opinion?
So 2 great questions. I'm going to address the first one. We believe that alcoholism is a spiritual problem and requires a spiritual solution, and that alcoholism in addiction, whatever their forms, because now we have screen time, we have gambling, we have shopping, it's not just a substance anymore, right? If you have a predisposition to addiction, you would be wise to watch for putting yourself in addictive situations, just like a diabetic should be very careful about how much he puts into his body that raises his glycemic index. It is a disease that it is in the DSM-4 as a mental illness, so it has already way been established that it is a disease with no known cure. But if you don't put the substance in your body, you don't have the reaction. The second, about AA being a religious fundamentalist program, number one, we embrace all paths. The 12 steps, recovery dharma, celebrate recovery, smart recovery. There's a lot of Jewish people in our area, so there's Rabbi Kessler, who always does a Passover Seder. We're very progressive in that regard. As I said, it's a spiritual problem requiring a spiritual solution. There's a God-shaped hole in your heart, and people are assuaging it with substances or dangerous behaviors. And we've seen that totally change since COVID. 5 years ago, it was primary addiction, secondary mental health. Right now, it's all primary mental health, secondary addiction.
Thank you, that is very well said. Is there any other questions?
For you. Thank you for your talk and your important work, and I really do appreciate it. We need more of your services, so thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. Yes.
deserve that.
Thank you so much.